So I guess that's why we picked this topic. It's, so I really don't know how to explain how do you talk to stranger. I guess first of all you need to feel comfortable, right? And you need to feel safe, right? If you don't even feel safe, there's no way you're gonna talk to any stranger, right? So one time I was in Washington, D.C. I drove from South Carolina by myself to Washington, D.C. and I was lost, okay? Washington, D.C. there are 4 areas of Washington, D.C. One area is very, very dangerous. And I drove right at the area. So I called my family, the host family. The host family is where I'm gonna stay in the night. I say, well, I'm here, but I'm right here in this region. And they say, well, we're not going there because it's very dangerous. So at that time, I look around, you know what did I find? I find a family with a grandma, with a father, mother, and 3 kids. Right? Because that area is dangerous. So the first thing you find is who you can approach. Approach means, right? You go close, right? So then I ask them, you know, like, how do I get out of here? You know, because I don't want to be in this area. No one want to come at me, right? Come to me, right? So anyway, so that's something you gotta think about. Is how do you make yourself comfortable first, right? So, and besides that, you need to make yourself comfortable most of the time. The more comfortable you are, the easier that you can open up yourself, right? So I guess you cannot put too much 条条框框, right? You have a lot of things that kind of binding you, then you will not be able to open and then talk and then learn new things every single day, okay? So that's one thing that if you want to be able to talk to people, you need to try to learn things, like new things every day, right? So one time, I put on the ice, you know, like a rollerblading. I've never done it before, right? 1987, I bought it, and I just, like, you know, put my foot into it, and I went out for 2 hours. I never come back, even though it was a new sport. But I just kind of went out, and didn't, just after 2 hours, then I come back. So I guess I'm like that, right? So I'm just kind of go and do it. So you're willing to go into the darkness, right? So let's say I drove from South Carolina by myself with a very old car, 1978 Datsun B210 model, by myself, 7 days across country, right? And I didn't know anyone. I just because I was going to go to my next university, right? So, are you comfortable to do that? And that time was 27. Right? There was one time I drove with my wife. She was not my wife yet. She was my friends, okay? And we just say, well, let's go, right? So I did not have a destination, 目的地, okay? We just stepped on the gas pedal in the car, and we actually went across Zhonghen, and then come back, and that was the trip that made us together. I guess we connected in that trip, right? So anyway, so you can see, if you're willing to get out of the comfort zone, or walk into darkness, then you'll find something. Of course, you gotta make sure you can survive, right? Okay, so that's something that I find that I have that in myself. I like something that I can explore, time, right? I can explore so that I can discover more about myself. So that's a long story. Is how do you get to know people? First, you got to have many different angles, right? So you already have different sports, different topics, different kind of interests, and then you relate to different people very quickly, then you'll be able to find friends very quickly, okay? But if you lock yourself instead, then you will find yourself kind of just by yourself. But if that's what you choose to do, then I guess that's who you're going to be, okay? So it's your choice. So as far as the topic, right, you can find something neutral, right? Neutral, like if the topic is not personal, like if the topic is, okay, what do you think about the, the games, right? The games, right? So the games, right? Any game is fine. Basketball game, soccer game, right? Or what do you think about the cheerleading, right? La la队, right? Or just some neutral topic, right? Or you can find something maybe about pet, right? Or you can find the body language, right? So if you discover, observe anything that you can, find just a little bit more about himself, then you will be able to strike the beginning, the strike, right? The 切入, right? So you gotta find somewhere to 切入, right? So if you find that, then let's say if you find a janitor, right? So you need to be able to respect them first, right? If you don't even respect them, you see a janitor, 就扫厕所, right? So if you don't even respect that job, then how can you have a conversation with a janitor, right? But I often find myself, talking with a janitor for a long time, and they are actually probably from South America, right? They don't even speak English, right? But I would just kind of like do, just whatever, right? But it's really who you are, that if you care about someone and you want to know, a little bit more about that person, then you will try to do it. And the more you try, you find yourself become better and better to get close to people, right? So I guess you need to make yourself more of a people-oriented, 就是你更想靠近的人, right? And you are not like always, I want to face computer, right? Okay, so I always find myself that I want to get away from my desk and go around and just talk to people. So if you find yourself like that, you are the kind of person that need that magnet, 磁场, right? Need someone to grab, okay? So I guess that's, and then any kind of appropriate topic is also important, right? So what is appropriate? But you also don't want to think too much about appropriate, because if you keep thinking, is this appropriate? Is that appropriate? Then you keep putting all this 礼教, right? All of this kind of tradition and what's right, what's wrong. Then after you're thinking about so many things, then you find yourself, well, I guess it's not appropriate anyway, right? So you got to, just kind of relax yourself so that you can stop, okay? So, any questions so far? Any questions?
No.
No?
Thank you.
Okay. How do you teach your son? Do you teach your son don't talk to strangers?
No.
No? Okay.
Friendly to stranger.
Friendly to stranger. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually one thing that I find about Taiwan. It's so warm, right? And everybody in the world is talking about Taiwan about this, right? Like whenever they are lost, whenever need any help on the street, there's no better place than Taiwan, okay? If you are in Taiwan, you can always find someone. Well, of course, there's always a criminal, right? Like the, 歹徒, right? But unfortunately, there's always more good people than worse people, than bad people. So you gotta believe in it. And you gotta have more and more gut feeling, 就是你要有那个直觉, right? So that you know that the moment you talk to them, they are, right? You can tell, right? You can tell, like a dog, you go, right? You use your sixth sense. You don't really just, are you good, right? Are you good people, right? You gotta use your sixth sense, right? 第六感, right? To tell. So then you can get help, okay? So that's one thing that I find in Taiwan. It's really incredible. Yeah, I've been to Hong Kong, I've been to Japan, been to Thailand, Singapore, Canada, USA, different city, but there's no better place than Taiwan in this aspect, okay? So you should be very proud of yourself. Give yourself a high five to your neighbor. High five, okay? Yeah. Okay, well, we can play a little game. You can write down one thing's true about yourself,
Okay.
and one thing that you lie about yourself. And we can then, put them together, and then we'll, draw it, and then see if people can tell which one is true and which one do you lie about yourself. Can you write something in English?
Okay.
And then, one true, one lie.
Okay.
Lie means 谎话.
Okay.
Okay? So, just quickly write something. We have this, if you need this, okay. Yeah, right.